Hello, YouTube and Twitter. How are you doing today? I hope that your day is going very, very well. If you've never seen me before, my name is Mariah. If you have, then welcome back. Either way, I'm super glad for you to be here. And today I wanted to touch on something that I don't really see it talked about so much from, I shouldn't say religious because I don't really identify with Gnosticism as like a religion, more of a school of thought. But this is a Gnostic perspective on the importance of womanly beauty, feminine beauty, you can call it. I really don't want to lose the word woman because that is what our media seems to be trying to do these days, is take away that word. And so this video is about the importance of womanhood and expressing your beauty, especially when we see today, sorry, pause, my cat might be moving around in the background. What we see today, especially with the recent Barbie movie, which I just think is so awesome and I can't wait to see it. I saw in the news that they're like critiquing Margot Robbie's outfits as being like too feminine, and I'm like, excuse me, like that's what Barbie is. She's feminine and powerful and has always been in every single career and has been an inspiration for girls across the world in going for those careers that is more than just a receptionist. And no shade to receptionists or admin stuff, I do that, but just that you can be a girl and you can do anything, and that's really her message. And to see people's response to Margot Robbie's outfits during that is like, it doesn't, like, why are you bashing how beautiful she is and how perfect her outfits are for this press show? Like, it's just so silly. But it did kind of spark this, this thought in my head that's like, okay, they want to get rid of the word woman. You can't dress pretty in pink. and still her outfits were like business Barbie, whatever, like all these different kinds of Barbies, right? And, still she was getting critiqued for it, for being like not smart enough, I think was the article. And I'm like, doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Still that like rhetoric is there, is that you can't be a feminine, beautiful woman and be smart or do, serious careers. And it's just so silly to take away the beauty of being a woman, because as women we're just beautiful. Oh, here it goes. And what's funny to note, and I was not the first one to make this connection. I saw a tweet, I forget the username, but if you want me to find out, I should be able to, that Barbie is Barbello. Hello, that is like a huge Gnostic storyline. It's one of the names. Oh, seriously? It's knocking stuff over. He does this every time I do a video. Barbello is an alternative name for Sophia, for the Aeon Sophia, the Gnostic primordial goddess of creation who made the human genome and became our planet Earth. One of her names is Barbello, or Barbie. So when they bash Barbie, I'm like, stop, because this is just, another step in the line of trying to erase womanhood and beauty. And really that is the whole MO of our in the background of our planet, and frankly of our existence is beauty, and the more they try to take that away from us and make us feel like, especially, and I'm gonna say all of this from the perspective of a woman, I'm not gonna try to jump into anybody else's shoes, and obviously it's not that men can't be beautiful. I think men are beautiful. I really love men, but there's something different about the beauty of a woman, of the magnetism and the natural flow and attraction that a woman can have just by merely being herself, you know. And I think that right now they're trying to take this away because of how powerful naturally we truly are. And I wanted to just give a little bit of why, a little bit of perspective on why that is the case. And as you know, if you've seen any of my videos, I've talked about this story a lot, but I don't know if I've so much framed it in this way before. And just with, you know, everything that's going on in the media lately, I think it is important to have this story as context, because it makes you go, oh yeah, I can see why that would be a threat to the powers that be, or the leaders of the, you know, whatever. I don't think they're actually leaders, but in Gnostic terminology, they're called authorities or archons. Greek is the archon is the Greek word for authority that was used in the Gnostic texts all the time. And it's funny, once you know more about Gnosticism, you start to see it everywhere, and then you go, oh yeah, they know this story too. So the more of us, like normal everyday people, that understand this story, the more that we can just kind of ignore what they're doing, because we know that when we play into their narratives and their rhetoric of, you know, thinking that we need to downplay who we are as women, and that we can't identify as women, and that I have to be a cis woman and blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you're going to make a big deal about how I want to identify and I say that I'm a woman, like, just stop, you know. And this is a little personal story, but my best friend has dealt with this in a very professional setting. I don't want to give too many details, but she was writing something and they asked her to use her preferred pronouns, and so she did. And then they said that she needed to use they, them instead. And she was like, but that's not what I want to be called. And isn't that the whole point, is, you know, making accommodations for what people want on a personal level? And they're like, no, you're going to make people uncomfortable who are reading this. Like, I know we went through so much, like, in the past years of just stupid bullshit, and this is just more of it. You just, at some point, you just have to ignore it, you know. You just have to kind of go, okay, and, you know, move on with your life and identify how you want to, especially if you're a woman. We're trying, well, they seem to be trying to just erase, they are trying to take it out of the dictionary, a woman, like, it's ridiculous. But I think why they're trying to do this is because of the whole Sophianic creation story. And, you know, I say Gnostic because more people know the word Gnostic, but really it is Sophianic. It's kind of like, because when people think of Gnosticism, they think of Christianity, and they think of, I don't know, that Jesus was a magician and whatever. And, you know, that's all well and good and fine, but there is this story that I think kind of fills more of the gaps, and it comes from the Gnostics, but not the new version of Gnosticism. This is a very ancient version of Gnosticism, and you can find this version in the texts, and you can also find it in Greek texts, I believe, of church leaders, church fathers, describing what Gnosticism was in the day, and their beliefs, and how they were heretical. But it gives a good idea into what those people back then believed. Beyond that, in my experience in meditation and in connecting with Earth, and that's how I started all of this, you know, the story that she has revealed to me is the Sophianic Gnostic creation story. And it, you know, once you learn it, it just, you find that it has kind of made the most sense all along, and maybe you kind of already knew it, but it didn't really click. So I'm sure if you've been on my channel, you've heard this story before, but I would really love to just summarize it again, because it's my favorite story in the whole world, and I think it really just sheds light on why women are so powerful. So once upon a time, I don't even, this is like, okay, we're going pre-history here. This would be, oh, and of course my cat's using the litter in the background. Anyways, so our origin story, the origin story of the human species and of Earth, is a beautiful story. And it starts off in the core of our galaxy, in the core of the Milky Way galaxy. This is where these generative, creative forces reside, and they live through the galactic center. This is also called the pleroma. So when you see the word pleroma, this is what Gnostics are referring to. Again, if you don't want to believe that, that's fine. And so from this place in our galaxy, from the absolute core of our galaxy, there is this kind of, membrane, and they live on the other side of this membrane. And they're not like humanoid. They are more like big torrents of energy. And you can think of how, on Earth, we have telluric paths of energy. And we have the same thing through space. And this energy is these creative forces. And beyond the membrane in the pleroma, that's what they do. They create, and they exist in these male-female pairs. And that is it's a guideline. There's no, if you don't follow these rules, you're going to go to pleromic jail. Like that's a human archontic construction. And so things need to be done in the male-female pair to make creations, to make them balanced, to have them, live in a way that can further the knowledge of these aeons, right? These are all, you can kind of think of them as scientists, and these are their, experiments, and they kind of, they kind of send something out into it's called the canoma, our side of the pleroma. And, being scientists, they do their best to not interfere and to let the experiment take its course and, see what happens. However, in our story, and why we are so special, is that we were not the first version of humanity to be created, but we were, I think the 10th version is how the story goes. And, it had taken 10 versions because we weren't successful. We would just, end up in a cataclysm or in something. It was like we were kind of over endowed with the powers that we were given by our creators. And I don't think I mentioned this, but they're called aeons in Gnostic lingo, by our, aeonic male-female pairing that created the human genome. For some reason, we just weren't thriving in the way that we should. So the female pair, part of the pair that was responsible for the human genome and humans successfully living, was on her own at one point and was trying to imagine or daydream about a solution for humanity, a solution for her beautiful creation, that her child that she made and fashioned with her male counterpart. She was thinking, like, why isn't this working? How can I provide a solution for them to live as intended, as designed, right? And the problem is that she was doing this thinking and this imagining on her own, without her male counterpart involved in the daydreaming and the thinking of a solution. And just by nature of her being a creative force and a generator, basically, of this creative force, it's not like when she has an imagination or a daydream that it just does nothing and goes nowhere. It started to materialize. And what this did in her unilateral imagining, this daydreaming is important to know that it's a daydream, a dream, that this physically compelled her to fall out of the pleroma and into the kenoma, into our world, our, I don't want to say reality, but the material world, more or less. And this was terrifying for her, and it was a mistake, an anomaly. It's something that doesn't usually happen. And because she started to fall without her male counterpart, this caused a defect in her fall. For some reason, she kind of shot off this, in the Gnostic text, it's called like an aborted fetus. And John Lamb Lash mentions it. If you have any questions at all about my story, other than asking me what I think about it, go right to John Lamb Lash's work. He's got the best version of this, and you know, most of my stuff comes from him, because I have had dream synchronicity with this man, which is just insane. Anyways, and so this, you know, aborted fetus like came off of her body, and this, you know, in our reality can happen. Just the sheer electricity of her fall has been shown in labs. And this is, I can't remember the name of the experiment, but basically it was like a wet crystal can somehow create spontaneous life and create these like little bugs. It's insane, but it's true. And so that's kind of what happened to her as she started to fall, and she saw this abomination and she was like, ugh, like, get this thing out of my sight. This is an accident. I had no idea. And so she just kind of shoved it off to the side. And, you know, I mean, she was falling through space and, you know, trying to get her bearings. And it is important to note that as this was originally a daydream, she's still like in that dream state. So she's still dreaming. And that is very important to know, because it is her dream body that falls in through here and is traversing through space and accidentally creates the demiurge, which is this aborted fetus offshoot that she sends away covered in clouds. And she's like, don't, like, just stay where I've left you. Live your life over here. It's not a problem. Don't bug me. I'm busy, basically. And, you know, obviously that doesn't happen. And the demiurge, if you've never heard of him before, is the Yahweh, Jehovah of the Bible. My kitty judging. And even in the Gnostic text, they're like, this is our warning. He said that he is the jealous God. He's angry that there's nobody else but him, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, he says that because he knows that his mother is present and has shown herself to him multiple times and said, you're not the only one. I was here before you. I'm your mama. And, like, do what I told you and stay within your boundaries and we won't have any problems. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And so I'm going to skip through the story a bit, but basically, as she was falling, the demiurge who had created his archons, like his legion, and knows that she's falling through space, knows who she is, right? And is threatened by that, doesn't want anybody else around, wants to be the only one. And so as she's falling, the demiurge has kind of seen her a couple times and bothers her and kind of sets her off her track like an annoying fly, you know, kind of like, get out of here, but can knock her off her concentration. And so that did happen, and it happened around the Orion star system. And because she was traveling with the solution for humanity in her creative mind, in her dream mind, when she was when she was falling, and then she was around the Orion system and got hit by the demiurge, this caused the human genome, the male-female genome, to split, to shear. And she had accidentally deposited the male version of the genome in the Orion star system. And this is why there is such a huge connection between men and Orion, men's secret societies in Orion, and the hunter, you know, it's all related, because this is where in prehistory where men came to Earth from, because they were deposited here by the Aeon Sophia as she was falling through space. Anyways, she had to continue where, like, because that sheared left it, she continued just because she kept falling. And you know, she saw the solution, and she saw a tri-body system of a sun, moon, and planet. And in her creative dream body, in this force that she is, that creates material results, she eventually, you know, folded her dream body down and became our planet Earth. And she became our planet Earth with the female, the woman part of the genome embedded within her at the same time, because remember, she had left the male counterpart in Orion by accident. So when she falls and becomes our planet Earth, our Mother Earth, she has the female, the woman genome embedded with her as well. So when she is becoming our planet Earth, she has the form of a woman, simply by the fact that this is the genome that she was carrying with her in her dream solution to make a successful humanity. She just, you know, was one with the female genome that she created, and this was her body in this reality, is the body of a woman. And, you know, JLL has such good, you know, little quotes about this, and that she has our form instead of women having the form of our creator. She has the form of a woman that she created. And that is the crux of our power. We have the same form as the Aeon Sophia, who is present here, not only as the earth, but in the same way that you have your body, your material body, and then on the inside, you have a soul, or you have consciousness, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, the Holy Spirit, which is, you know, Sophia. We have Earth, which is Gaia, the material body, and then her soul, consciousness, Holy Spirit, is Sophia, the Aeon that is responsible for creating humanity. And, you know, I get this question all the time is, well, what is the importance of men, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, obviously we know that men are important. Humans are important. But, you know, we have been given a distorted story where men have been the main character, and that they've been, you know, the example, the image of God, you know, and that woman was created from a rib of Adam. Like, and And once you kind of learn this story about the Aeon Sophia and the Gnostic perspective, you can kind of see, oh yeah, I can understand why they would want to cover up that story and completely invert it and make it about the male side of things, because that is just not what happened, and that is what they love to distract with. You know, I say they, and I mean, you know, ancient bloodlines and families that have been around for such a long time, and they know the truth. They know that the Gnostic Sophianic story is the origin story of humanity. So they feed humanity these stories that are the complete opposite, so that, you know, you're just, you know, think like if you have to get to a destination, it could be anywhere, and you ask somebody that doesn't want you to reach that destination, they're going to give you like the opposite directions, right? They're going to put you in the far end, because they know that if you find some sort of truth, sorry, I should use my hands here, that if you find some sort of truth, but you're all the way over here, and the truth is over here, and instead of, you know, being in the middle and it only taking you here to get it, you've got to not only unlearn all of the stories that they've given you, you have to like beat your way through more layers of just lies to get to a place of neutrality, and then to be able to start to understand this story and not take it as another lie, because they've been lying to you this whole time. You know, and it's worked for so many people and for so many centuries. And you know, I don't want to say props for that, but it kind of did work for a lot of people, and you know, it worked for a lot of men, and it gave them this this ego in thinking that a woman's place is not to be seen, and man is made in the image of God, and blah 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 blah, when in reality it's the opposite. And now I'm not advocating for everything to be run by women and that men need to like do nothing and whatever. I don't think that's true either. I think the truth is that the sacredness of a woman's body, that not only is made in the imagination of the creative forces that made us, but that the body of a woman is the same as the body of the creator that is present with us, that is so viscerally here in nature that you can see her in the shapes, and she shows up as a beautiful organic light if you're in a certain state of trance, you know. And this is something that I want to touch on as well. And I know it's not like entirely super related. You can see my little kitty just moved a corner. But it's the importance of opening up the right brain, because when the right brain is open and receptive to the earth and natural impulses, this is when we have strong intuition. I believe that when our right brain is open, that is when we can see Sophia, we can see Gaia Sophia, we can understand her presence, and it's like she can reach us. But if we don't have our right brain open and we're only operating in our left brain, in the analysis and the, you know, quantifying, measuring, you know, everything, and logic side, rational side, I should say, in rational thought only, then, you know, this is what we get in society. We get society that is focused on making money, making material gains, and doing it all ourselves, when that's not what we were designed for. We were designed, well, I don't know what we were originally designed for, but in the nature of how we got here, in that we are so immediately present with the creative force that designed us, that is our earth, that is nature and supernature, that we're not supposed to do it all by ourselves. You know, we have that connection in our right brain to see her and know her, and to not to shut the left brain off, but just to turn it down a little bit, you know. And this is why and I mentioned this in another video, that your third eye, when you balance it here, it kind of opens up your right brain more, and then you kind of come back into the middle, you know, because if your right brain is too open, that can lead to psychosis, and that's not great either. You kind of got to find the middle, but it does come from, I think we're way too far on the left side, you know, and the right brain is that unconscious impulse and connection with nature all around us. It's that beyond rational thought that makes us so powerful. And in my opinion, it's kind of more of a feminine trait to be more open on your right brain, and to trust nature as your co-conspirator, if you want to call it that. And so, you know, and the Aeon Sophia, who is here and is present in nature with us and is that driving force of everything growing, is the golden ratio. You know, you can see it in nature. Her MO is beauty, baby. Everything she does is beautiful. You know, just think like these roses, they are just beautiful, you know? And if you find a rainbow, it's beautiful, and the sky and the leaves and everything about nature is beautiful. And some of it, you know, can be decay and can be gross, but still there's beauty in regeneration, in taking something and regenerating it into something new. And that is what a woman's body does. You know, every month we go through phases, and if during that one phase we become pregnant, we 3D print a baby and we create life, and you know, and that's just on the physical level. In my opinion, the being a woman and the orgasm of a woman is a creative force. And I think where people kind of like, I don't want to say like lose the plot a little bit, is that they think that if they're thinking of something and manifesting something, that it has to appear right now. Like if I think of an apple, like it needs to have to just like come into my hand right now. And like that is not the case, because we are in the dream body of the Aeon Sophia, whose scale is enormous. So I want you to think in your dreams. You know, we are blessed to be dreaming creatures, to be creative creatures, and creative in the real sense, not just like, oh, I can paint a picture. Like, no, I have the power to create things in my life and make them real just from thinking about it and from using my body to make it real, you know? So I want you to think, if you've had a lucid dream before, then you'll totally know what I mean. But if you haven't had a lucid dream before, think of a time in your, well, I guess it doesn't really work if you haven't had a lucid dream. Okay, I'm just going to assume that most of you have had a lucid dream or know what it is. But when you're in your lucid dream and you think of something to experience, you know, I've had it before where it's, you kind of click, you kind of know it, and then you go, okay, I'm living in a luxury apartment, skyrise, you know, and it's just there, immediate in your dream. That's because your dream on your scale is so much smaller that it is immediate in your dream reality. And this dream is, you know, happening in your brain, and you know, this is something to talk about in another video, but I do think that our consciousness can go physical places. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that now. But so when you're having a lucid dream, your reality materializes pretty much immediately. Like, it's really fast because of the scale of it is personal and it's local. But we are in the dreaming mind body of the goddess, who is enormous in scale compared to us. So when we join in her dream by using our body as a way to engage with the dream, which just means holding the feeling of what you want to experience in your body, and whether that's just in visualization, whether it's in some kind of sex magic, whether it's, whatever, however you want to manifest, but in a way that really uses the whole gift that you've been given, it does manifest. But because she is such a big scale, time for her is a little different than time for you. Her time would be, and this is where we get the Yuga Cycles, is her, I can't remember, I know JLL did the math on this, and it's something like her week is a 26,000 year Yuga cycle, something like that. Something where, 1 second of her time is 108 days for us. So for her to dream with us, which is the power sharing that I mention a lot on my Twitter, not only do we have to be grounded into her body, literally touch grass, like literally, that we have to be so grounded in her body. And this is why I take it in my meditations, all of them. We go down into the center of the earth, and then that is where we do our work from. That when you're grounded and then you feel in your body what it is you want to experience, she hears you. And she knows you, and she has your awareness, and her gift to you is, once you know her, she gives you her awareness, and she gives you her mind, and this mind is manifesting quicker. But you don't really get there unless you know the whole metaphysics, Sophianic physics of what we live in, Gnostic physics. I'm gonna call it Gnostic physics now, of where we are, why we're here, how intentional we are as a species, and the very, important point that just by nature of being a woman and having a woman's body and a woman's body parts, that we create not only physical life into reality, we are a lot closer to manifesting it, whatever it is we want, just by nature of using our body, because we have the same body as the creative and beautiful and Sophia, and you can see the reflection of her beauty in nature, in flowers, in crystals, in all these things that are just beautiful. They just exist to be beautiful. And how divine is that our beauty is a direct evidence of our presence with the goddess, of the presence of the goddess. And when we appreciate that, when we know that, and we lean into that, and we say, it's okay for me to be seen, it's okay for me to be beautiful, it's actually powerful for me to be beautiful. And this is something that's been in my head all the time. Pretty is power. Pretty is power. Pretty is power. And you can see it, like when you turn on your pretty or your beauty as a woman, and you walk outside, and like, it's kind of crazy. Like, everybody's staring at you, and you're like, oh, like, is there something on my face? Yeah, there is something on your face. It's beauty. And there's a lot of people that are just so afraid of it that you might threaten them, but also you might inspire them, and you might be the reason why, a little girl feels like she can wear the pink dress, and that she can have her hair really nice, and it's not going to make people not take her seriously. We should be taken more seriously for that, because of the power that it holds. People listen more when you take care of yourself, because it shows just that. It shows care. Beauty is care. And beauty is love. It is loving who yourself is, and caring about yourself. And I just think that it's, it's the best thing. It really is the best thing to be a woman. We are so complex and impactful and powerful, just simply alone by being in our bodies and loving our bodies and expressing our beauty in whatever way feels good for us, you know, and for a lot of us, it is that feminine beauty. It's that stereotypical feminine beauty that the media is pushing so hard to erase right now. But Barbello is here. Barbie is here. I am here. Sophia is here. Gaia is here. We are present. We are beautiful. And so are you. And I really hope that this message makes you just feel a little prettier today. You know, it makes you want to maybe put on some lipstick, put on something pretty, go outside for a walk. And just when people give you that attention because you're beautiful and you're shining and you're illuminated just as you are, just like absorb it, let it go through your body and back out and refreshed. And if you need any assistance with that, just ask Gaia. Be like, listen, Gaia, I'm feeling beautiful. I'm gonna go out for a walk. I'm gonna be seen. Please assist me in refreshing the energy that is all around me, or assist me in shining so bright that everybody around me is uplifted. You know, things like that. You just got to get a little more interactive with your reality, because we are in the dream body of the goddess who made us. And if that's not the most beautiful thing you've ever heard, then I don't know, find another video. Anyways, I love you all. I hope this message helps at least one person, or, you know, makes them feel a little more confident to go outside and be beautiful in your feminine power, because it really is power in a sense that is so beyond what we have learned in, you know, Abrahamic religions. It'll make their head spin. Anyways, this was fun. I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.